What's up, everybody? It's your boy Scotty P, and we're here for episode 12 of the Scotty P Breakdown. Today, I'm going to bring you the 66 kilogram winner, Cole Abate. This kid is a literal kid. He's 16 years old and demolished his whole bracket. It's really unbelievable. I remember when I was young and I first started out at 21, I think it was 2021, and I was just so worried about being young in the sport and worried about going against guys so much older than me. And I remember this one guy told me that he was much more afraid of the really young cats because of their physical ability, their ability to pretty much redline the whole time and really pretty much push through the whole competition. Whereas when you get older, you start to be a little more cautious. You try to save your body a little more. You've been through some injuries, so you have these pathways in your brain that you'll shut out because you've experienced injuries. Well, a young athlete doesn't have those. And it allows them to squeeze at a higher level, compete at a higher level, move at a higher level, than as opposed to having that knowledge in an older body. So it's just, really interesting to see that play out in Cole Abate, who's only 16 years old. I mean, think about that. 16 years old, this kid's jacked and strangling people in the toughest grappling competition in the world. So truly humbling and mind-blowing. I say the same thing about Mika Galvao is I am very happy that I don't have to fight these kids for food. I'm glad we're not in some Mad Max scenario because we would be screwed. These guys would be the Achilles out of the Troy movies that would just take out the biggest, baddest dude with one move. But I'm excited to break down some moves for you today. Let's get into it. All right, in this first matchup, he's going against a homie of mine named Miles Williams. He trains the Henzo Grace, one of the Henzo affiliates. Super cool dude, but Cole Abate is just too much for him. But I know that didn't affect my boy Miles at all. So I just want to show y'all this veteran move. He's in quarter guard, and he waits for the time before he passes. So he's got someone calling out to him the time, and he's pretty much just kind of keeping him busy here. And you see he checks that little clock and just does a veteran move of waiting for points to be called before he hits that knee slice. So just check it out here. Textbook, locks it up. And look how he's making sure he's cheek to cheek before he checks the time, right? He didn't immediately give space. He held it there, and pretty sure he had counted in his head for 3 seconds before he went to double check the score. So again, veteran move by such a young talent. And he ends up taking the back on this and turning it into a sick triangle. So check this out. Does the leg ride, rolls him through, gets both hooks. So he makes sure he scores his points before he starts to go on the attack here. Now check this out. He's in 3/4 mount. He's going to expertly weave his foot out. And now he's looking to take the back. But look, he notices that Williams is going to burst into him. And he throws his leg right over and locks up a sick triangle. Now he does a variation, which I believe is called the TP triangle. If you heard it called something else, let me know in the comments. But yeah, he gets a quick finish with a TP triangle. And I don't ever finish too many, high-low guys with that. I find that I can't really generate torque, but I've been in it, and it is brutal. When someone already has a tight triangle, and then they turn it into a TP where the pressure is just like a scissor. It's like scissor pressure almost. It's brutal. So look, he gets that little S grip behind his legs, squeezes. A lot of pressure. Brutal triangle in the first round for Cole Abate. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so here he gets a armbar from guard and jiu-jitsu 101. So, and he jumps guard, which I've talked shit about before, but he trains with Art of Jiu-Jitsu, who are known for their, legit guard. And so if guard's one of your best moves and you feel confident, and go ahead. And you see how he just jumps and then immediately cuts the angle. And that's the biggest piece. If you're gonna pull guard, you got to cut an angle. And that's exactly what he does. And he just balls him up and it just gets a textbook finish here. I mean, it's kind of brutal. I mean, look at that arm. Nuts. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So this dude makes a mistake of grabbing one leg with two arms. And I mean, that's actually not that bad because he's about to like drop him here. And it's, but Cole Abate with just his skillfulness locks up a side triangle. I mean, I would say that, you know, picking him up and dumping him like that with one leg is a solid move to do. But again, Cole is just so intuitive that he can turn almost any position into a favorable position. So, and that Kimura is really hard to get. Like I get in the side triangle sometimes like Kimura and it's hard to really get that angle, but just seeing him be able to really just like crank that, you just know like, I mean, this is one of his moves. He had masterful execution on it. Move on to the next one. All right, so here's going against John Calistine, who, if you don't know, is a Renzo Gracie standout. I believe he has his own gym now. He's won EBI. He pretty much just eats people's ankles for a living. And yeah, Cole Abate just even goes for his own leg. Like they trade leg locks, and you know, Cole's just monstrous and gets a dope pass to win it. But I really want to show you how he passes the guard here. Just super textbook. All right, so look, see how he pushes those toes down to keep it off his hip? And then he clears that bottom hook right there. He just pushes it off his leg. Now look, he pummels his shin on the inside, stretches it out, and then passes both legs to the outside. Now watch, he's got his legs laced, and then he's gonna push them forward. Now check this. That wide chest movement there. I've been trying to teach my guys that, like flamboyant of like hips and chest forward to thrust. All right, and John Calistine just does just enough to keep him in front, but this comes into play a little later. He defends that straight arm bar, continues to stay up, right? So, you know, you see the intelligence there. Keeps circle passing. And this is like the sad part here is just like, there's like 20 seconds left and John gives up the pass. You know, so you can see here that this is like mentality and conditioning that really comes into play here, right? Cole is able to pretty much floor the gas, pedal to the metal, and really push the pressure on John, who essentially just kind of folds in the most crucial moment of the match. So, again, mind blowing for a 16-year-old to be pulling this off. I hope you guys are taking notes. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so the next match, he goes against Esteban Martinez, which if you're in the grappling world, you would know who that is. He's like a shorter guy. He's actually known for how small he is, but he's just like a, you know, he's all over the place. You know, it's like, I've heard it's like grappling wind. He's super fast and he's really hard to finish. And Cole ended up getting a back take on him, but the footage was just really messy. It kept freezing, so it just wasn't worth it to show it to you guys. But he gets a match. He wins the match with a back take and gets 3 points for it. So now we're moving on to the sixth match, which is going against DeAndre Korb. And this dude is a monster on the East Coast, and he got to the quarterfinals in the West Coast trials. So it just goes to show it to you. Cole's just heavy pressure the whole time, like on top of him, not giving him any space. And I really want y'all to see how he pulls this off. He's stacking them. Cuts the angle, and look how he's like tight around the hips, pressure on the waist. His head is down, his hips are a little high. And you can just see he's like warned his opponent up. Now he doesn't get the points just yet. We're still before the 3-minute mark. So they get a reset here, and in order to score points, Cole puts a knee on belly. And look how he's able to hold the knee on belly and be aware of his surroundings to score points. High level tactics being played. High level strategy and tactics and control. So super money. And yeah, he just rides it out from here. Not allowing Corb to really do anything. All right, so let's move on to the last match, where he goes against Keith Krikorian, who wins it in the West Coast Trials. So he loses here, and then he goes on to the West Coast Trials, which is after where he wins. And but this was his Keith Krikorian's third time being here, and he kind of just got a masterclass put on him by Cole Abate, which is just truly brain melting. In the finals, he scores. This is the finals match. He scores 10 points, which is a lot. That is a lot of points to score on somebody. So he opens his guard. He goes for this leg attempt. This leg entry. He uses it to come up. So that's his first points. Again, beautiful. Uses the guard to attack the leg and then uses the leg to come up. Textbook. Now he looks attack the back here, just tied on the waist. He's spinning. Remember, he's not staying on the tracks. He's not back and forth. He's going around. And if you notice, as you've been watching this, he's in north-south a lot. And that's because he's switching on what side of the body that he's attacking. He's not just going to one side. He's constantly rotating back and forth. Again, head low, ass up. See how he's just going, changing the angle that he's attacking? Side to side. Now look at that. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Just real quick, I'm going to back it up. Look at that chest exposure that he does to the legs, right? Because they need a shelf in order to really keep that guard. And you can really like remove that shelf by thrusting that chest forward. And he just does that so well. I do that a lot, but nowhere near as well as this kid's doing it. Circles to the back, attacks, immediately goes for that arm. This is like super high level stuff. Nice job on Krikorian on defending. But even as he goes a step around, Cole stuffs it by grabbing his hip. Just fire stuff, guys. So he gets 5 points here because Keith did put him back in front of him, and Cole passes again. Staying on the back here. You know, look how there's no space. See how tight he is? Immediately goes for the body triangle. Scores points for that. Keith does a great job by not exposing his neck and somehow manages to escape. But you can just see like Cole's flexibility here. How he's able to pretty much keep this body locked no matter which way Keith spins. My knees would explode for sure. Attacks the arm again. Again, that's like great leg dexterity and groin flexibility that he's able to just throw his leg over almost at any time to be a threat. knocks him over and comes up again. I mean, super smart. He could have just like chilled out and let Keith score points, but he's like, F that, immediately stood back up. Our coach actually teaches that a lot, where you just push people with the feet and you stand back up. That's something that you have to be aware of. But yeah, Cole Abate killed it. So, this kind of, for me, this strikes to me as, always being that, that white belt, or having that beginner mindset. In a sense that, in the expert's mind, there's only few options, but in the beginner's mind, there's many options. So that whole idea of you can always learn from someone underneath you or someone younger than you, this kid's the example. He was a blue belt, and he's beating people in just extraordinary fashion. And so to think that because we're older or we're a higher belt that we can't take a lot from this kid, it would just be silly. And I really believe that the reason these kids are so advanced is their intuitiveness. They can just feel it, right? As we get older, we get so many biases in our mind, and we already have these predetermined ideas of how things should be and concepts in our mind. But a kid is usually without those things. And so they're just able to be more in tune with what's going on in the physical, in the actual physical grappling match. Whereas when you get older, you tend to be in your head more often. But, again, you can just see that he's really in tune when he's grappling somebody, and just knows when to attack, when to move. And, I mean, he's not thinking about techniques. He's just moving. He's just doing what comes natural to him. He's not thinking, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to try to do this. He's just in there, and he's just being fluid and really activating that flow state. So I definitely learned some stuff. I hope you guys learned some stuff. If you noticed anything that I missed, or the name of a move, comment down below, hit like, subscribe. Thank you to those who have already been watching. This is your boy Scotty P, and I'm out.